the most holy name of Allah, who appeared to us in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, to whom all holy praise is due forever, and in the name of his last and surely his greatest messenger, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, and in the name of that great champion of truth and justice, in this last and final day of the resurrection and rise of the black man and woman of North America, and for all dark people throughout the world, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, I greet you in their three great names, as he, Muhammad, teaches us in the Arabic language of Assalamu alaikum. Brothers and sisters, friends and family, we are living in a very serious day and time. We are living in the time that the prophets of old called the Day of Judgment, or the Day of God. We are living in that day and time when we will see a complete change in what we know as the world of the human being. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad is a messenger from God. Not only is he a messenger, but he is a divine leader from God. And he is a divine teacher from God. And he is also a divine warner. A warner is someone who gives us time to get our act together, to get on the right path, to get on the road that will lead us to success, prosperity, and salvation. The prophets of old were not only teachers and leaders, but they were also warners. Moses was a warner. He was a warning to Pharaoh, a warning to the empire of Egypt. Egypt was a slave empire, according to the Bible. Egypt was a land of servitude. Moses was given the mission to warn Egypt and to warn Pharaoh of their impending doom. But Pharaoh did not heed the warning. And so his land, his country, his empire was brought to naught. Noah was not only a divine leader, not only a divine teacher, not only a divine guide, but he was also a divine warner to the people of his day. Noah is said to have taught and preached and warned the people for over 100 years. But the people mocked Noah. They mocked his message, and they mocked and disregarded his warning until it was too late. When the rains began to pour down from the sky, and they tried now to redeem themselves and save themselves, but it was too late. Lot was a man from God. He was a divine leader, a divine teacher, and a divine guide, as well as a divine warner. He warned the people of Sodom and Gomorrah. He warned the people that God was not pleased with the behavior and the activity that took place in Sodom and Gomorrah. He warned the people that soon God's wrath would be visited upon the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah. But just like in the time of Moses, just like in the time of Noah, just like in the time of all the other prophets of old, His warning was ignored. His warning was mocked and ridiculed and scorned. But in a very short time, the wrath of God was visited upon the people of Sodom and Gomorrah. Fire and brimstone rained down on the people of Sodom and Gomorrah. Just like it was in those days, it's the same way today. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad and now the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is a divine warner to America, a divine warner to the Western world, a divine warner to the Christian world. Just like those prophets of old were mocked and ridiculed and scorned and laughed at, the message of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is also mocked and scorned and laughed at. We have a chance. We still have time. We still have an opportunity to save ourselves. But we must be quick to take heed of the warning, take heed of the message, take heed of that teaching of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. The economic condition of the black community has been so long ignored by the Negro leadership. The Negro preacher is not preaching to you and I about economics. He's not interested in building economic institutions. He's not interested in building financial institutions. He's not interested in building banks, credit unions, or investment clubs. He's not concerned with the pitiful, poverty-stricken plight of the black community. The preacher wants to tell you how you can get into heaven. He wants to tell you how you can get to heaven and where you will be able to live in the land of milk and honey. But he can't tell you how to get some bread and butter so you can survive down here on earth. Let's look at the black community. Drive down the street in any black community, and what do you see? Scores of churches. In some cases, hundreds of churches. But not one factory. Hundreds of churches, but not one production plant. Why is this? The black community is like a man with one leg. A man with only one leg cannot stand because he's unbalanced. The black community is unbalanced and unstable because there is an overabundance of churches and a severe shortage of industry. The black community is unable to compete with other communities because of this imbalance. The human being has a dual nature. Each human being has a spiritual self as well as a physical self. Unfortunately, the majority of the leadership in our community is only interested in serving your spiritual needs. The preacher and the pastor in the black community are quick to tell you that this life is only a transitory life and that you ain't got long to stay here. Don't worry about this life because you're only passing through. They place all of the emphasis, they focus all of your and my attention on your spiritual self. That would be fine if you and I